All right, I never played that one at the beginning. Okay, so this is High Priestess Jamila, one of the best witches in the game. And it has come to my attention that there has been some people out there playing around with magic and spirits, conjuring spirits against people unjustifiably. And now it's backfiring. And, I understand. I totally do. It was a mistake that you made. You conjured spirits against people, either out of jealousy or plain ignorance. And you thought that you could use magic to attack people unjustifiably. And now, those spirits that you have been conjuring are now attacking you. What do you do? Let's look at A. Do you try to find a scapegoat? No. B. Do you go to church? No. And C. Do you figure out and devise a plan of putting those spirits back where they belong and clearing yourself of the negative karma? I'd say C is a start. You know, learning the craft does not give you a license to attack people. I mean, I totally understand. It is very, very tempting. Temptation is crazy. You see somebody, they're pretty much minding their own business, and you may have an incense stick and some candles. You may have some charcoal discs or either some copal resins, some Palo Santo, some dragon's blood, some copal, And you may be tempted to conjure spirits against people that didn't deserve it. And what happened was those spirits, that energy that you conjured went to those people's homes or their jobs. And that person possibly either A, had ancestors that whipped them right on out, took them right back to you, or they could sense those spirits coming ahead of time. And so they put up a barrier. It's called a ward. They put up that barrier and they sent those spirits back immediately. Didn't even touch ground zero. Or maybe they were very busy, and maybe they were an experienced witch, or they may have been working with an experienced witch that either instructed them on how to get those negative spirits out of their home. I am, for one, that personally asks bad spirits to go into the void. However, sometimes these spirits will go back to you anyway and attack you. Depending on what your intent was, they may sit on your chest. These spirits may block your blessings, or they may punish you in other ways. Or, and it just started raining, yes. Or the person that you were attacking justifiably conjured her spirits or his spirits to come after you and teach you a lesson. Now you're upset and you're getting the lesson. What do you do? Do you throw a temper tantrum and cry and play victim? Nope. Do you harass and stalk people and blame other people for your mistakes? No. Do you attack or harass said person that you tried to conjure these spirits against? No. What do you do? A, B, C, or D? Do you do the responsible thing, which is to ask those spirits to go back to where they came from? You ask your ancestors to make sure that they go back. You apologize to those spirits, and you maybe possibly make them an offering before they go. You cleanse yourself with either Florida water, baking soda, vinegar, all of it works. You cleanse yourself. You sage your home. And then E, you stop trying to conjure spirits against people unjustifiably. I would say if you chose D and E, you got it right. Do you continue to lodge spiritual warfare against people unjustifiably? No, you don't. In fact, I'm just going to say this. Some people think that by gathering up a bunch of weak minded people in social media and having them come after one person is not witchcraft. And technically, it's not. It really isn't. But it's still conjure because all of those people that you are getting to attack that one person, they all have spirits on them, in them. All of those people are entities or spirits. So let's say you did that. And let's say you did that to a witch. And that witch did work. Do you continue to play victim? Good morning, 1EQL. Do you continue to play victim? No, you don't. Do you make things worse by threatening violence? No, you don't. Do you stop all attacks against that person? Yes, you do. Because let me tell you something. People that you take advantage of and you lie to, they have spirits and they have ancestors. And their spirits and ancestors love them, unlike you, who are just using them for your own purpose. And guess what? Those ancestors and spirits will do. Those ancestors and spirits will come to you and they will lay on your chest, your throat, your head. They will attack you. Because guess what? You are putting their family, their familias in a compromising situation. What do you do in that case? I would say possibly make them offerings, cleanse yourself, ask them to leave, apologize, and never do that again. Everything has a cause and an effect. And when you do things right the first time, you don't have to worry, do you? So, even though there are some people, mainly religious folk, okay, from what I can see, okay, not all of them, not downing religious people, but there are religious folk that I believe do this all the time. And they say, oh, I'm praising Jesus, or I feel justified in doing what I'm doing because that person did not praise Jesus and da 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 da. No, no. You are still manipulating. You are being manipulative. And that is wrong in the eyes of God. You are still being judgmental. So you are still wrong. And you know what? Whomever you conjured those spirits against, guess what? Guess what? Whoever you did that to, not only are you going to get backlash from their ancestors and their spirits, but you're also going to get backlash from God as well as Jesus, because Jesus says to love everybody, right? Yeah, he does. And then also there's this entity that everybody calls the adversary. Whether or not you call this entity the devil, Lucifer, Satan, right? See, then you'll have that particular entity on you. Do you lodge attacks? Do you stalk a person? Do you threaten them? No, you know what you do? You clean it up and you move on with your life. You go on down the road and you don't look back. I don't care if you're Bible thumping or jumping the broom. I don't care. Because guess what? The Bible is a book of spells. Yeah, it is. It's definitely a book of spells. And when you step outside of your sphere of influence or your scope of expertise or when you step above your pay grade and you decide, I am going to play God based upon this ancient text, then that is when God is going to say, how do you know that I was not using that person for my good? Because you know what? That's why it says in the Bible, don't judge. See, in order for you to understand something, you probably would have to read the entire Bible. I haven't even read half of the Bible, not even a third of the Bible. But that is my understanding because, see, I have foresight and insight, kind of just understand these things, pretty much an expertise on witchcraft. Now, if you have conjured, like for example, I could literally pull a spirit up right now. I could literally conjure whatever spirit I wanted. If I wanted to conjure the spirit of lust, the spirit of envy, the spirit of greed, or the spirit of money, I could conjure that spirit right here. I have it right here in front of me. All of the tools that I need to conjure that spirit. Now, would I just go conjuring those spirits if I didn't know what I was doing? No, I wouldn't. The lesson of the day is to not play around with magic because it'll bite you in the butt. Just like a snake will bite you. You keep it clean and you keep it kosher. You do not go and try to send things to people when you're not justified in doing so. Otherwise, those things are going to come back on you. It does not matter. If you do not believe in karma, karma is very, very real. This is what makes you angry. This is what makes you resentful. This is what makes you ungrateful. This is what makes you do the things that you do. Don't play around with magic unless you know what you're doing and unless you have something called self control. If you don't have self control, you should not be touching magic. If you are a very impulsive person who doesn't think things through, you should not be touching magic. You shouldn't. You need to maybe go and cook yourself for a little while longer before you even touch it, till you actually know how to take responsibility. And, if you don't have spirit that is there to tell you that, because honestly, if I were to have ever conjured a spirit while I was in an emotional state against somebody, my spirit guides, my spirits would be able to come to me and tell me how to deal with the situation. Period. And you don't know how to deal with that situation. Okay. There's a lot of people that are inexperienced and they just want a result. They just want a result. They want instant gratification. It takes a certain level of maturity to practice witchcraft. Witchcraft is the same thing as owning a gun or drinking alcohol or being a parent. You have to do it responsibly. You can't just do whatever you want to people. And then also, let's face it, the reason why you wanted to conjure that spirit against that person that literally did nothing to you is because of someone else's actions that you're mad at, unresolved trauma that you've went through that that person is not responsible for. There is no such thing as a scapegoat. And I'm going to tell you something. Spirit will remove 80%, 80 to 90% of a scapegoating spell, because I've seen the spells and the rituals for scapegoating. I get to do something that I know goes against God. I get to do something that I know is wrong to another human being. And you know what? Instead of me actually dealing with it, taking responsibility, oh, let's go over here and get a scapegoat or a sacrifice. That does not exist whatsoever. When you learn, you learn. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to witchcraft, because you can really, really, really get burned. I'm talking about burned to a crisp, playing around with it, and you shouldn't be. Okay? Yeah. Let's not do that. Stop conjuring spirits against people because of your petty differences. You should never do that. Half the time, you're not justified in conjuring a spirit against a person that calls you a name. So what? They called you a name. Now, if they call you a name over and over and over again, chanting it over a candle, saying it all over and over and over again, trying to use the spirit of suggestion, then that's when a person has every right to get you. You can't cheat that way. You can't think, oh, I can do whatever I want and I'm going to go and find out something. I'm going to go to the dark web and I'm going to do all this stuff. No, because all of it, every last bit of it, you will be held responsible for your actions. Also, be careful with what spiritualists you go to, please, because there are a lot of spiritualists that are practicing unethically that will get you in trouble. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to post it in the chat room. How are you, 1EQL, this morning, this glorious morning? It was about to start raining. I don't know why it stopped. Come on, Spirit, make it rain. Yes. I love it when it rains. And it's been trying to rain literally like all night. And we just had like a little 2-minute rain shower. I don't understand where it went. By the way, guys, I do teach classes in witchcraft. Oh, here's another thing. If a witch curses you justifiably, please don't try to get revenge on her. Please. Please don't. Okay. And that includes a Christian witch, any kind of witch. Any kind of witch. Christian, Jewish, European, uh hoodoo, voodoo. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay. Nobody has any questions? Did y'all need any tips on how to clean out your houses? Did you clean out your house? Did you cleanse yourself with the intent of walking away from people for good? Because otherwise, that's not a cleanse. You can't cleanse your negative karma when you plan on harassing people again. Okay. Just saying. If you're doing a cleanse or a core cutting from a person, you can't, just say, hey, uh, you know, nice. You need any cleansing tips? Because you can't very well cleanse yourself of negative karma unless you have an intent on actually walking away and letting people be. Right? If you feel compelled to stalk a complete stranger in social media, well, then you can't, like, you could not, you need help. You need spiritual help or either mental help, one or the other. Okay. Yes. Sweep the floors, shower, cleanse yourself, dump some apple cider vinegar, dilute it with water over your head, and relax. If you don't plan on letting that situation go, your karma will stay bad. It's going to stay that way. It's going to belong to you. And it's nothing that you can do. There's always rules to everything. And I believe that that's pretty much the universal rule. Now, you can go stand out on a limb. You can go stand out on a limb and play around with magic if you want. I wouldn't suggest. I would take it seriously because you just never know. I mean, when you start to speak things against people, when you start to say things against people, those things can happen, even if you're not powerful. I think power is being responsible. I think power is having common sense. I think that power is having the sense to not think that witchcraft is all about some spiritual war that you keep conjuring things against people. You are responsible for the spirits that you conjure. Okay. And I would highly suggest that you don't conjure spirits against witches. Don't do it. Okay. Unless you have to. Unless that witch is trying to bully you or has either lost their mind. Otherwise, if somebody is minding their own business, not thinking about you, let it go. And please, please, for God's sakes, stop trying to do vampire spells. Stop. Stop trying to do energy harvesting spells. It's only draining your soul. You can't, in that human body, you're not going to be able to survive without a soul. I can promise you. The way God designed you was for you to have a soul inside of your body. Yeah. Okay. I hope that this helps on this Monday. And I'm getting ready to conjure my wolves and make them offerings, is what I'm about to do. So I hope that everybody has a better week with magic. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I know. I know one EQL. I know. I know. And scammers are out there. They don't have, and the scammers typically don't have rules set in place. You can tell they have absolutely no respect for witchcraft. They have absolutely no respect for other people. They are very, very disrespectful people that, seem to think, and please stop thinking that you're God. Please, please stop that. Please. I'm so sick of I'm so sick of that. Let me tell you someone, EQL. A person telling you that they are God is a scammer. God is invisible. That is it. Now, you may be a reflection of God. You may be who God created, but you're not God. If you were God, you would not be here walking around doing the things that you're doing. Okay? Yeah. Right. Okay, stop doing that. Don't do that. Humble. Sit down and be humble. Sit sit down and be humble. Okay? And stop thinking that you're some kind of hold on, that you own all witches or something, because you're going to find out. Cuz I think some of them, yeah. Yeah. Cuckoo. All right, guys. That is all. And for classes in the craft that are not going to either get you thrown in jail, oh, and stop using the laws of attraction. Law of attraction has totally screwed up people's heads. Totally. Because what's happening is that they're trying to use the law of attraction, but it's not working. Law of attraction is not witchcraft. Law of attraction does not trump a witch. Law of attraction is just hope and energy and frequency. When witches set an intent, it happens. Law of attraction is throwing all of y'all off. That's why all this is going on. Comparing yourself to other people. It's quite embarrassing. Please stop. At least don't do that and try to associate yourself with me. I teach authentic classes in witchcraft. Y'all can check out my website. Okay. Check out the website. I do have openings for readings today. Okay. I have openings every single day because of the scammers, because people believe in that. People believe in the scammers, and don't follow behind the scammers, because the scammers are going to lead you to homelessness. They're going to lead you to destruction, because they don't know what they're doing and they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, guys. Link to my website is below. Cash App information is below. Are we going to hear guns a blazing? Anything popping off? Any guns a blazing? My Cash App is in the video description box. I charge at the moment, I charge $60 for 60 minutes. Okay. If you don't have $60, $40 for 30 minutes. Okay. So if you want my classes, you still have to schedule a reading beforehand. And then also I have the 2 hour, which is musing class. Okay, which is a 2 hour reading. We cover a lot in that reading, past life and everything. Okay. All right. Okay. Gonna have a good week. We're gonna have a good week. We're gonna get out there. We're gonna do better, ain't we? Stop, just stop with the embarrassing tactics. It's embarrassing. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all have a good one. Blessed be.